Hello, buddy, and welcome to the Grim Report. Sorry I had to do a camera adjustment. I usually do that before, but I had to do a bunch of other things. Well, it would seem in Canada there was this mysterious brain blob. Yes, I said in Canada. I know that sometimes the thing didn't put the entire thing out there, so sorry. Well, this was from coast to coast. There's a link. There's coast to coast, and there's a link to where I got the entire, more of the story. This was published August 31st. Yes, last month. Didn't get to it fast enough. Sorry, guys. It happens. It's a gelatinous, mucus-like creature. Lurks in the rivers and at lakes, and is called a bryozoa. Recently, they were spotted for the first known time in Stanley Park in Vancouver, British Columbia, when low water levels made them more visible. Selena Strands from the Stanley Park Ecological Society recently examined the specimen found in the area's Lost Lagoon. And the small body of water in the southern part of the park. Video created by the Vancouver coroner Strands shows the brownish-green mass jiggling as it's pulled from the water. It is gelatinous. In the phone call with National Geographic, Strands explains that the creatures have a gelatinous firm quality, almost like Jello. Can you ever will Jello make those brain cubes? Okay, for Halloween, they have these brain things, these brain Jello modes. Basically, it's like that. You take one of those and you put green dye in it, and make it look, it looks like one of those. That's what it would look like. There's a picture on the front if you didn't catch it. They're actually bryozoan clumps. Like these are actually hundreds of creatures living together in a colony, kind of like we do. They're single organisms known as zooids. Is the only fraction of a millimeter. Zooids are hermaphroditic, but spread thanks to stadioblasts, clumps of cells found in the organisms that can reproduce asexually if broken off from the colony. Basically, if you take a big chunk of that, they can reproduce themselves and make, another one. These are in the fossil records, guys. Dated ancient marine bryozoans as far back as 470 million years. 470 million years ago. The species found in Stanley Park is commonly called the magnificent bryozoan. And it was previously only known as existence in the area's East Mississippi River. Where they come from? Well, guys, if you wonder where they come from, whether or not the creatures are invasive species has been subject to debate among scientists. A 2012 report from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service theorized that the climate change could be helping the creature spread. Zooids can only survive in water warmer than roughly 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And the report states that the warming temperatures allow bryozoans to spread north. Basically, these things are spreading north because of the climate change. The lumps filter feed on algae, nutrient-rich waters, and increase in number. Could upset ecological balance of freshwater ecosystems. They are also found to clog pipes. It's possible, however, bryozoa zones have simply gone unnoticed. The creatures are difficult to find, and their muddy color helps them camouflage in murky waters. Starness says they're sometimes confused with batches of salamander eggs or rocks. They doubt it is the first time they've been here, she said. Ian Walker is a biology professor at the University of British Columbia who has studied the bryozoans. He thinks there isn't enough research to conclusively say whether or not the species has moved north. Well, that's all I'm going to read on that. Because, double time. I recently watched a movie called 47 Ronin. Now, it's based supposedly off of a true story about 47 Ronin denying the show, going after a person they were denying. They said, oh, you can't do this. They knew they were going to die in the movie. You'll have to pardon me, I got a little bit of status. Winter time's coming, it affects my allergies. I hate the fall. But this movie was interesting. It had a lot of combat, but it was also a love story. It was also about honor, but it was also about half-breed. Half-breed being half Japanese, half something else. Supposedly that's what Keanu Reeves played, was a half-breed. Okay, there you go. Alright. There won't be any there might be spoilers. So, spoiler alert. Well, it goes on, and their lord is killed. Their leader or whatever was killed. He killed himself. Basically suicide. I don't want to mess up anything, so if you guys know what the word is, leave down in the comments. I don't want to say it wrong. It goes along with the code of the Bushido. Seppuku, I think it is. Sorry, I apologize if I butchered it. It's also known by something else. But what had happened is that after he killed himself, apparently there was a witch who did this. Well, didn't kill him, but Keanu Reeves took the place of a samurai. Keanu Reeves went to samurai. It dishonored him, as well as his captain or leader or whatever. And his leader was told by the shogun that you can get your honor back if you kill yourself. So he does. Then they become Ronin, warriors without a lord. There was 47 of them in the story, in the actual story. They go about taking back their lord. They revenge their lord. But even though the shogun told them, you cannot do this. For those who don't know what a shogun is, it's you got your samurai, then in a step up is your lord, then above that is a shogun. Shogun is the leader of an area, of a state, so to speak. And if he tells you not to do something, you don't do it. Or you are murdered, or you are killed. They knew they were going to die. Even though they avenged their Lord's death, they knew they were going to die. They accepted it. And in the end, they became samurai once again. Who Keanu Reeves was never a samurai, but, you know. But there was one of the persons that had the leader of the group, the 47 Ronin. His son was allowed to live because he did not want to end his bloodline by taking his own son. So after they done all this fight and they did that, they eventually, yes, they were killed. The movie was good. It gets above average score because of it being based off of a historical event, which the Japanese on a certain day, they do have like a party or something like that to celebrate the 47 Ronin that actually did do this. There was no witchcraft or anything like that involved, but and the real story, which I want to read and then I'll go back and watch the movie and, you know. But, based off of true events, even though there was a lot of fantasy and a lot of stuff like that taking place, it gets, believe it or not, because of that, and because it was such a good movie, despite that Keanu Reeves was in it, a 7 out of 10. Like I said, there was too much fantasy. They would have took out all the fantasy and told just a straight up story. Yeah, oh wow. People would have been upset, pissed off. Who cares? They would have told the story the way it was told. Very historical. All used a historical fact and everything. It would have been good. It would have got a 10. It would have. Fantasy sometimes to me takes a lot out of the reality of what makes a good movie. I won't apologize for that. So with that said, guys, good luck, good night, God bless.